make payments. Let me go to Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, but thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, who we are, which departed from the Lord our God. Remember, I had read Isaiah 59, right? In Isaiah 59, and 2, it says, but your iniquities are separated between you and your God. Like I said in Baruch, we still here to this day because of our iniquities of our fathers, which are us. All right? But when it says we're subject to payments, being subject to payments means that you're paying a debt. So if you're paying a debt, that means that you owe something. Like it's like someone loaned you something. But we've been born into debt here, because we've been born into dang, King David said it. Like we born into sin. We are born into sin, you know. Let me get that really quick. Born into the taxes and the payment situation. Think about it. A birth certificate is a prime example on how you're still a captive. And on top of that, how that word payment goes back to paying a debt. Because they're saying that we have to pay off the debt of the government. Understand this. This is an article. It's an article from STEEMIT, and the title is, The Secret Purpose of Birth Certificates. I want you to see it on the screen. You can see it, right? The secret purpose of birth certificates, right? Yep, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. And that's why Black Wall Street was burned down. Because we still cursed, right? Have you ever stopped to wonder why people are issued with birth certificates? Why should any person need such a document? Is your existence not proof enough that you have been born? The real reason why birth certificates are issued has eye-opening implications concerning the extent to which we may consider ourselves free individuals. You're not really a free individual, you are stock. Right? Everyone's a stock. But I'm really talking about the nation of Israel, right? Everyone is a stock. It's like when you go to the store and they tell you to stock the shelves, you're a product. It says, in order to understand the true purpose of issuing every person with a certificate of birth, we need to make what may seem like a huge detour and talk a bit about maritime admiralty law. In other words, if you're born in America, you're pretty much a U.S. citizen. If you're born like in Canada, you would have to be a Canadian citizen. But if you're born out in the ocean, how would they be able to determine, where you will be a citizen of? Because those laws are different when you're out in the waters. But think about this. Think about it. What happens when a woman's getting ready to give birth? Her water breaks. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. Maritime admiralty law is a body of private international law governing the relationships between private entities which operate vessels on the oceans. So think about the woman. Think about your mother being a vessel. I'm sorry. Think about you being a vessel and your mother's the ocean. But you're the vessel and the product at the same time. Because you have to go through her birth canal. Doesn't the canal have water in it? Think about it. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. When a nation takes custody of a resource brought into its territory by a ship, the woman, it accounts for it with a certificate which marks the birth date of that product in the custody of the respective nation. So you are a product upon birth. That's why you have the word birth spelled B-E-R-T-H. When someone births a dock or a harbor, then you got the B-I-R-T-H when they're saying that your mother's giving birth unto you. So the day you're born, man, you become property to a government because you become a citizen, right? Because money is changing hands, the captain of a ship that is sitting in his berth, B-E-R-T-H, and is tied to the dock, has to give a certificate of manifest to the port authorities. The first thing they make your mother do as soon as she give birth to you, first thing they do, they take your baby out of the room, and then they have your mother sign a birth certificate. Upon that time, she ain't thinking about that birth certificate. She thinking about getting her child, right? A certificate of manifest to the port authorities. Thus, maritime admiralty law deals with banking and merchant affairs. All right, I'm going to get to the point. According to the Barron's Dictionary of Banking Terms, so this is terminology coming from the banks. All right, a certificate is defined as a paper establishing an ownership claim. So you are the property of the government. Ownership claim. And so in other words, your mother relinquished her rights to you. So I'm sorry. Your mother relinquished her rights over you to the government, i.e. the birth certificate. According to maritime admiralty law, a person being as they are born of their mother's water can be considered a maritime admiralty product. It is for the reason that you had to have a birth certificate when you were born, because you are a stock in a maritime admiralty banking scheme. Right? So every person that's born with a birth certificate, you're pretty much a product of the government. Right? Now understand this. Your birth certificate is therefore not proof of your having been born at all. It is actually a share. That's why if you look on the back of your social security card, you'll see red numbers. Those red numbers go back to a bank up in New York Stock Exchange. That's why they say when you're born with a debt, because they want you to pay off a loan. Listen to this. You are held as collateral to secure the debt which your government owes to international bankers. That's why you pay taxes, to pay off their loans, man. They use the taxes on the people to pay off the loans and to pass certain laws and to pass certain bills. So in other words, you're just a slave to the government, to the society. And all the essentials of life, water, food, and then even certain medicinal herbs and all of that, they corner the market. They monopolize on it. So guess what? Now you have to go and want and need of all things from them. Like the brother was breaking out the curses, man. So you shall go and want for food, for shelter, for raiment, all those things. Yeah, wow. Right, wow. That's why I say Esau is wickedly brilliant. Wickedly brilliant. And I do put the emphasis on that, and I give him his flowers for that. Because that's the left-hand side of the Lord. You know? But that's just how clever Esau is, man. So technically, everyone living in America that has a birth certificate or even a social security number, we all are just dogs in a big park, which is the United States of America. You know how they got a dog park. Dogs running around having a good time. They really don't know, like, you can't go past this gate. You can't go out this side. You can't. That's what it is like here. Because if you want to leave if you're free, if you want to leave the country, they're gonna ask you, what are you going for and how long will you be out? So let's say you're gonna be out of the country for 3 months. You better bring your behind back here within 3 months, because if not, you can't get back in. It's gonna take you a very long time to get back into the country with the passport. It's called a passport. You have, why is it called a passport? They're allowing you to pass and to land on their port, which is in their country, the nation. Right? So let's go back to the scriptures. This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 8 again. Now, so you can understand why we are subject to payments. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments under rule, to pay homage and taxes unto them. Remember, I read Luke the 2nd chapter. It said Joseph and Mary had to go down and pay taxes to Caesar Augustus, man. So we're doing the same thing here until this day. Hold on, brother, drop something. Right. Yaramyah drop Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Exactly. If you go on Google and just type in yoke of iron, who you'll see? You'll see our people with yokes of irons around their neck. Those so-called Jays over there that went through that Holocaust that they say, that never happened to them. Right? Right now, they're the richest people in the world, so how the hell could they want in need of hunger, thirst, and nakedness? So they can't be the Israelites. We don't own Walmarts. We don't own Publix. We don't own any banks. Not so-called legal Latinos and Native Americans. So we're depending on them. Hell, even the dollar that we have to use has their face on it to this day. Has their face on it till this day. So we have to go and want in need of all things, but listen, from who? our enemy. So remember, think about that. We just did the live yesterday, y'all. Never trust thy enemy, but we gotta go to them and want in need of all things. So look at the system, the pit that we're in, just for us to survive, man. Wicketry, man. I'm telling you, absolute wicketry. Continuing on.